You're listening to Tay Radio Marin, a show run by youth in Marin County to inspire, educate, and be heard. With your host, Annalie Reyes.
And your co-host, Santi Hernandez.
And your co-host, Min Soon.
Thank you for joining us this week on Tay Radio. Make sure to tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Tay Radio Marin.
Hello, welcome back to Tay Radio, everyone. We are glad to see you guys back here watching our video, our show, or hearing us through the radio. We actually have an important topic to talk about that happened recently on January 6th on a Wednesday. And it was about the Capitol riots that barged in the Capitol in Washington. And we know it's a serious topic, so if we say something that offends someone, just know that we don't intend to offend anyone, and we're just trying to be informed and also inform you guys as well.
This week has been crazy and filled with lots of emotions for everyone. Home is supposed to be a place where we feel safe and all of that. But with what happened, a lot of people are feeling unsafe and have so many questions. And so, like Annalie mentioned, our job is to share with you guys information, and then from there you can do what you want with the information. But yes, we do not want to offend anyone, and if we do, we truly, that is not our intention. But before we start, I wanted to hand it off to Annalie, who's going to share the quote of the week.
So I kind of tried to find a quote that was kind of related to this topic or what's happening recently. It is "World peace begins with inner peace," and it's from Dalai Lama. I really like this quote because I know a lot of people were not happy about what happened in the Capitol. I think for me personally, I would want world peace. I wouldn't want to see a place where people fight with violence. But being a step closer to world peace is by having yourself have first inner peace, if that makes sense. So if you work on yourself first to have peace, and if everyone works on themselves to have peace, then we would have world peace, if that makes sense. I just really liked the quote, and it's just another reminder of working more on for yourself and get better with what your goals are. Next, we'll be hearing our PSA for this week, and we will be right back, and thank you for listening for the quote of the week.
Are you in an unhealthy relationship? Are you a victim of a crime? Need someone to talk to? Well, the Victim Witness Program is able to help you by giving you the support and help that you need to be safe. You can call the Victim Witness Program at 415-473-5080. Again, the number is 415-473-5080.
Welcome back, watchers or listeners. We hope you enjoy the PSA or learned something from the PSA. We left off talking about the quote of the week, and I really related to it, especially through what is happening right now, and the consequences that's going to happen, that is coming through, because of the riots that were happening in the Capitol. And a lot of people may be questioning, why did these Trump supporters decided to barge into the Capitol and try to avoid security and just go into the Capitol. And Santi would like to add into this of why maybe a reason for them to do this.
Thank you, Annalie, for sharing your quote. And I think it's a very important quote, and it connects to what has been happening. And one of the reasons why Trump supporters went into the Capitol, the White House, and they did chaos, broke windows, hurt people, and due to that riot, caused an officer to die and 4 other people to die. And one of the reasons why this happened was because our president, Donald Trump, had mentioned that January 6th was going to be a protest day because, as we all know, or if you don't know, he has been mentioning that the voting for the presidential election was rigged. He said that he had won and that Biden did not win. And he himself said that there are evidence, and he wanted to sue this whole thing, and he wanted to prove that he won the election. And because of this, many Trump supporters fed off that, and they believed that the election was actually rigged, and they went with his word. And so he had mentioned that on January 6th that they should all gather around and protest against the whole election. And due to that, he used very strong words that encouraged a little bit of using strength and showing power, which caused a lot of Trump supporters to go into the Capitol and cause all of this damage, which is very sad because, like I mentioned before, 5 people paid the price for this. They passed away, and really, like I've said this before in the previous show, that 5 people, behind those 5 people, there are families, and it's so sad to hear. But this is one of the main reasons that this happened, was because there was a protest announced that there was gonna be, but a lot of people didn't expect that protest to turn into this extreme event, which is very sad. So.
I think that's the reason why, like this, I heard that Donald Trump got banned, or like they did not allow him to continue his account on social media. And there's a reason for that. Like there's a lot of people looking up to him, and his words can influence many people, whether it's good or bad. And in this case, I feel like it was a bad decision of him to do that, because it started with violence in the protests. And like you said, there was 5 people who died, and it's really sad because they do have family, and like we all want like a safe place, like not just a certain group. We all have something in common, which is having a safe place. So something interesting that I thought, like I wasn't aware about the protests until it happened and it was on the news. So I was pretty surprised when I saw it. And when I was reading the news, there I saw that people were coming from the southern states. So it was like really serious, this protest that they were planning out, because some even did a road trip. They went on the road by car from the southern states to Washington, which is a very long drive. So I was just so surprised by that. Santi, did you have a reaction towards it?
Yes, so I'm still currently in Guatemala. I'm stuck here for certain reasons, and I can't go back to the country. But I wasn't aware of what was going on. I had no idea. But my brother, one of the reasons why we're here is because of my brother. He can't travel, so he's still in school, and he has his government class, and they've been talking about this, and I've been disconnected from most of social media. I've just been working. And he comes up to me and he tells me, whoa, what's happening over there? It's crazy. And I'm like, what's happening? I search up and I just see these crazy images, and it freaked me out because we're in 2021, and I was in shock, to be very honest. But at the same time, I kind of felt like something like this would happen because, again, President Donald Trump said that the election was rigged, and I knew that that could bring anger in within our communities. So I was shocked, but at the same time, I kind of felt something like this coming. I just didn't think it would be this extreme. I knew that people would be angry once Joe Biden would take office, and the images were very graphic, and you could just see the how protesters got in, and some of them were painted, and they broke windows. They were pushing against police officers, and I saw someone being shot. I saw the images of important people in the government hiding under the seats and wearing things over their heads, and I was like, what's going on? And once I watched the news, I saw how everything was playing out and how people were going on live stream, going on live, and they were taking photos and they were putting their feet on desks and they were doing so many things. And I was in shock because overall, the White House, in my mind, it would be the most protected and most guarded place. But with the images that I saw, I was like, people just seem like they're walking in. And once I did more research, a lot of people were angry because they mentioned that since they were white folks, they thought and they felt that they were treated with like welcome home, because in most of the videos you see that they're giving force, but they were walking around the White House. And I saw a lot of Americans angry because they took it as if they were people of color and if they had a certain religion, that they would have been treated very differently and things would have played out very different. So I was very mixed with emotions because of how everything played out. I personally didn't expect it to turn out this way. And I definitely didn't think that people could just, with force, they can get into the White House. I really thought that the White House was more guarded than how things played out. And I think from what I saw, I don't think the police officers were prepared enough. I don't think they were expecting something like this and they just were caught off guard, which is something crazy. So I was very in shock.
Yeah, and I can agree with that, but there was actually like a police officer who died because of injuries, like the people were hitting him, and I'm pretty sure like he was not prepared for that. If he like knew that it was going to be worse, I'm pretty sure they would have been more protected with like shields or more like stuff like that, like we have seen in other protests. But I've seen other protests like they would throw bombs. I'm not sure, not actual bombs, but like it was like pepper spray. I'm not sure if you remember, Santi.
Yes, I do remember they were throwing gas and they were using pepper spray, and they were also using, are they rubber bullets, if I'm correct?
Yeah, rubber bullets.
They were shooting rubber
like
bullets.
That. Yeah.
I remember.
So
I thought something like that would happen.
On top of that, we're on a pandemic, and it's just crazy because the hospitals are really full, and it gets worse when people get injured and they need medical assistance like really badly because they're in severe injuries. So it's just chaotic, what had happened, and hopefully it does not happen again. But I totally doubt that. That it would not happen again. I have a feeling that it would continue on until Biden Joe Biden is fully becoming the president. But as we had mentioned, there was a police officer that died, and there was 4 other people who were Trump supporters that died. They had different situations how they died, but they sadly passed away. And what I have heard, like what I have seen in the news, is that they're actually closing any tours or museums that are in the Capitol until the inauguration day, which is on Wednesday, January 20, 2021. And if you don't know what's an inauguration day, it actually is a ceremony to mark the commencement of a new 4-year term of the President of the United States. So here is going to be a ceremony of Joe Biden becoming the president in 2021. And Santi, did you hear any other updates or outcomes that came from this riot?
Due to this, the president didn't react right away, which caused a lot of people to be angry and disappointed. And a lot of people in his who are working with him resigned due to this, as well as people started going. They wanted him to be impeached, and in history, it's the first president to be impeached twice in his term, and which is it's history. But this is what caused all of the riot at the U.S. Capitol. So the president did talk about this, and all he mentioned was that he was disappointed too with how the election went on. However, he sent the people home, and people were kind of upset because of the wording he used. Because if you remember, I think it was during the Black Lives Matter, if I'm correct, that he talked about the violence and the chaotic thing that happened, and he took it very strong. However, when this happened, the president was a little bit more lenient, and people were very angry about that. So a lot of government officials are saying that no matter what, if President Donald Trump ever wants to hold an position in the government, a lot of people think that he himself caused that a lot of people won't find him credible and believe in him because of what happened. And a lot of government officials said that what happened at the Capitol was completely unacceptable, and a lot of them turned the other way and really wanted him to be impeached. So that's one of the causes.
The situation that happened here is history, and it had a lot of outcomes, and some were good, some were bad. Actually, I wouldn't say good, if I'm being honest. But yeah, mostly bad outcomes. But hopefully, we do learn from this and move forward and become better in as a whole, as a country in United States. Before we do start talking more about what happened inside and what people like took pictures of inside that riots put in, we'll be playing a song by Crepe, and we'll be right back.
Friday Tay made this. Hey, let's do this shit. Hey, it's Craig Summer. Michael Christmas. Let's do this. Good vibes, late nights, summer days, it's alright. Really love a girl that wanna spend the night. Kick back.
Welcome back. The artist you were listening to was by Crepe. If you are or know a local artist, send their music our way at Terrio Marin. You can DM us on Instagram and let us know if you want to be on the show and talk about your journey as a music artist. But lastly, we were talking about the different outcomes that happened during this, that happened after this riot. And in the news, I did see a lot of pictures, especially flags. And I feel like that stood out a lot because there's a lot of history in flags. There was one that I saw, which was the Confederate flag, and I feel like the Confederate flag has a lot of controversy because the Confederate flag was back in the day when there was like American Civil War, and a lot of people consider it a symbol of racism because back in those days there was slavery in the southern states, and a lot of people want to ban it in the United States, but there's also people saying that it's part of the southern US history and it's their freedom of expression. So it was interesting to see a person holding a Confederate flag. Santi, did you see any other flags that they put on the Capitol?
Yes, there was
I would say gets it in.
Okay, so that was back when the American Revolution and the war with the British colonists. So that was a flag, and there was the American flag with a yellow field depicting a timber rattlesnake. And beneath the rattlesnakes are the words, "Don't trend on me," and as a symbol for gun rights and limited government. And this was used by anti-government white supremacist groups who embraced violence. So these flags all have history in them, and they can be offensive to certain groups and certain people, especially the Confederate flag, because that marks slavery and marks African American history, and it has so much history behind it. And many Americans were very upset that this was happening in 2021. And it's the new year, and we're starting off like this, so a lot of people were offended, and they were very not okay with certain flags that were shown. And as well, during this, like I said before, protesters and people were picking up stuff that like podiums, and they were putting their feet on stuff. So many things that happened.
There was a lot of people saying that they were probably not Trump supporters because some pointed out like a guy had a picture. I mean, in a picture there was a guy who had a communist hammer and a sickle tattoo. It's supposed to represent death, and it doesn't come off nice to see that, you know? And so a lot of people are saying that they were not Trump supporters, but I don't know, even if there were not Trump supporters, they shouldn't have chosen violence. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's like different Trump supporters that think differently in some ways. Like I'm pretty sure some Trump supporters may not have liked how others reacted or decided to join this protest. But I think just in general, I think we all should be staying safe and staying in home because you never know what's going to happen. And I have seen in the news that the FBI said that armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals from 16th of January through at least 20th of January, and the US Capitol from 17 January through 20 January. So we just want to let you guys know that we have to be careful and take this seriously. Especially through the pandemic, we should be staying home and only going outside when it's necessary so that we can all stay safe. And I know it's troubling times, especially right now. So if you guys do need to talk to someone, we are always here. You can DM us at Terry Dumorin on Instagram or on Facebook. Santi, do you have any last words before we end the show?
Yes, I just wanted to go back a little bit to the quote that Annalie mentioned in the beginning and talk about leadership. And one of the biggest things that we can relate all of this is leadership. And I was asking a lot of people, and I just wanted to make a little like survey, and I asked them, what's a leader to you? A leader listens, and a leader asks for opinions and help, and a leader talks before taking serious actions. They analyze things, but the most important thing is that they work with the people. They work with the people around them. A lot of the things that have been happening always goes back to how the president is, how he was leading, how he was. And it's an open conversation. People are giving different opinions. And one of the biggest things that I looked was, okay, I see how I'm reflecting on how leadership should be and how leadership can be. So I encourage you all to be leaders. And it doesn't necessarily mean to be a leader of a nation, but be a leader in your community, be a leader for yourself. And a leader for yourself means what Annalie mentioned earlier today, and that is working on yourself. Because if you work on yourself, the people around will see the benefit and will see that outcome of working on yourself and working on that inner peace. So if you have inner peace within yourself, the people around you will gain peace and they will gain love and respect. But if you're not respecting yourself and you're not giving yourself love and you're not leading yourself in a healthy way, your outcome is gonna be the exact same thing that you're giving yourself. So make sure you guys are taking care of yourself, and that way our world is better because you make your bubble better. And once that bubble is better, multiple bubbles, if we take care of our own bubble, our bubbles become better and better, and we create this beautiful bubble. And again, the world will never be perfect. The only thing we can do is work on ourselves to make our world better, and that makes the world a lot better. So I just want to say, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I know a lot of emotions are happening in our home, but remember that the world can be crazy. Just make sure that you don't become crazy with the world. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm excited to see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
This is the end of our show for this week. Make sure to catch us next week at 4 p.m. on Facebook and Instagram at K Radio Marin.